Welcome to another part of the basic features of SmartMusic, a tutorial for students, parents, and any viewers who are using SmartMusic in their daily setup. Last time, in our previous video, we talked about method books and the band and orchestra section of the SmartMusic features. Next, we're going to go into some of these other different options for students to utilize in their practice. If we look over here on the right side, we're going to see sight reading and sight singing. If we click on that, it'll pull up a whole bunch of resources for the students or musicians to practice their sight reading. They have sight reading success here, and it's broken up into different levels. So it starts out very easy and gradually increases. They also have singing, sight singing as well, so that you can kind of pick and choose which works for you. In terms of difficulty, what you want to be aware of is on this far right side, there's a difficulty level. So the green is a easy difficulty, and then the orangish color is more of a intermediate, moderately difficult, and then the red is a very difficult. So once you get into sight reading exercises level 9 and level 10, you're going to be dealing with some quite difficult sight reading examples. So if you're a high school musician or a very advanced middle school musician, you probably want to be looking at these bottom ones, level 6 and above, for sight reading exercises. Again, you can always choose the difficulty over here. If you push down on this, you can decide difficulty and check mark the difficulty, and then it will filter those difficulty exercises out for you. So that's also another helpful way to pick and choose what is best for you. If we go back to the home screen, we'll look at the next one, which is going to be solos. In the middle section, in this green section, is solos. These are for any instrument and any voice type. You can look at different solos for you. Obviously, here at the bottom of the page, there's a lot of pages of solo material. So to save yourself the trouble so that you don't have to go through each individual page, you could either utilize the search content by keyword area, or you could search down here in the filter area. You could search by genre, classical, jazz, rock and pop, that type of thing. You could search and filter by instrument, or it also has voice here. So you can utilize voice, string instruments as well. Down here at the bottom, they'll have different types of instruments and things of that sort. Okay, so that is instruments. And then you can also filter it by difficulty as well. So you definitely want to utilize those filter features over here on the left side of the screen. If you already have a book in mind of solos, you can also type that in as well. So sometimes in my classes, we use classic festival solos. So if I just type in classic festival and hit enter, it'll pop up all of the different books of that sort, and they have all different books by instrument. The best thing I like about the solo feature about SmartMusic is that they also have the piano part as well. So let's say if we pull up one of these, I'm just, for example, pulling up the clarinet one. If we choose, let's just choose this first one here, Andante and Rondo. If we open this one, it's a really great tool for students to practice, because then they have the accompaniment there already with them, and they can practice hearing how the accompaniment sounds as well as how their part fits into the accompaniment, which is very, very exciting for a practice tool. And so once this gets loaded up, you'll see the sheet music popping up here. The great thing about this is that, again, they have the sheet music, but you also listen to the accompaniment. So when we play this through, you can hear that my part is on and the accompaniment part is on. You can also take off the metronome if that works for you, or you can leave it on. For right now, we'll leave it on. And so you'll hear all the parts coming together really nicely. So that's again an example of the solos feature. While you're practicing, it's a good idea to, listen to your part in relation to the accompaniment, but then it's also a good idea to turn off the my part so that you can play along with just the accompaniment by yourself. Also, the same thing with the metronome. You can always take off the metronome so you're just playing with the accompaniment by itself. So that is the solos feature. Again, it's a really great option for anywhere from beginners students to advanced students to practice playing solos by themselves, which is really great. Exercises here on the right hand side in the brown color just brings up a bunch of different practice exercises that the students can utilize, such as scales and arpeggios and intervals and rhythms and things like that. So they'll not only have instrumental exercises, but they also have vocal exercises for the vocalists as well, which is very cool. So they have different levels here. They don't have a difficulty per se because all of these utilize different varying difficulties. So just realize that when you go into these different programs here, scales, rhythms, arpeggios, that type of thing, realize that it's going to start off easier and then increase in difficulty. Again, that was the exercises. I want to note really quick, rather than going back to the home screen each time, you can just go over here to select different ones. So on the home screen, we'll see free selections, jazz improvisation, method book, sight reading, etc., etc. So without going back to the home screen, you can just click on these and they'll pull up different ones. For right now, I'm just going to go back to the home screen so you can see what it looks like to click each one. So we've just gotten through exercises. If we go down below, we'll see free selections. Smart Music is a paid service, so if you want access to this, normally you would have to pay to utilize the service. But these are free selections for the students that are free always. In this time of the pandemic that we're dealing with, all of these sources are luckily free for us. So that's a wonderful thing that Smart Music has done to encourage students to still practice and teachers to utilize the resource. So it's really great. If we click on free selections, it'll give us all the different types of things that the Smart Music program has put on here that are free for everyone. So the really nice thing I like about this is that there's holiday solos for basically every instrument, which is very exciting. And they also, if we keep going past to other pages and things like that, you'll see awesome spooky solos for Halloween time and different solos for people and different pieces of music that you and your students can check out. State scales for all the different state levels that are through the Smart Music program and things of that sort. So that program, the free selections area, is definitely a cool resource for students that like to play holiday solos or Halloween solos and things like that. It's just another great resource that Smart Music has to offer. And if we go back to the home screen, we will go next to the choir section. Choir section, again, just like it says, is all about the choral repertoire. There are different types of varying difficulties and pieces. From a educator perspective, I noticed that there aren't a whole lot of selections for the choir area. So if you search in a piece that you're looking for, you might not find it in here because just the varying repertoire that is a part of the choir section of Smart Music is still kind of low, and so it's being improved and updated and added to as Smart Music stays functioning. So that is the choir section of it. After the choir section, we'll go back to the home page really quick. Again, you don't have to necessarily go back to the home page, but if you want to just start over at the beginning again, that's totally fine. On the right side of the choir side is the jazz improvisation section. If we go and click on that, there'll be a number of different varying difficulties of jazz improvisation for all types of learners. What I really like about the jazz improvisation section is that it even has beginning jazz improvisation all the way up to extremely advanced jazz improvisation and backing tracks that students can play along to. So if you look over here on the right hand side for difficulty, there's a few of the very simple jazz improvisation, and then there's quite a bit of the intermediate, and then a couple of which I really like, the all of Gordon Goodwin's Big Fat Band songs and charts that are they can be pretty advanced. So advanced high school students would definitely want to utilize these Gordon Goodwin Big Fat Band play-alongs. For an example, I wanted to show you the beginning improvisation parts. So these Alfred master tracks for blues will get students who are just starting out in jazz band or just starting out will get the opportunity to play different blues charts and be able to improvise over them and just play over the chord changes, which is really awesome. So once this gets loaded, it'll load the sheet music as well. It'll have the lead sheet on there, which is just the main melody that the students will learn, and then after that, then the students will have an opportunity to improvise over those chord changes with the rhythm section in the background, which is very cool. So this is an example, backward blues. As you can see, just looking up here, the melody is very simple. It's not very difficult at all. So once the students learn the melody, then they can start to improvise down here on the bottom of the page. Let me show you what this sounds like. So as you can see, after it finished the melody, then it went straight to just the rhythm section, piano, guitar, bass, and drum set in the background. And it gives the students the opportunity to solo on their own, improvised solos over those kind of what we call backing tracks. If you'll notice over here on the pages side, when I was playing the song, it had a lot of different pages on here, which means that when this recording is playing and you're playing along with it, there will be many multiple opportunities for the students to continue improvising over long periods of the song. So the backing track will go, or the recording will go for multiple choruses or chord changes through. So you'll have, I mean, at least 3 or 4 or 5 minutes for the students to practice their improvisation over just with the rhythm section, which is an extremely cool feature that I found with the jazz improvisation section of Smart Music. And finally, on the far right-hand side down here at the bottom in this kind of brown color is small ensemble, which is an opportunity for students to practice multiple different parts for a group piece of music that they would like to play with other students or other people. So there's again a lot of good different resources here. Some of these that I especially like are these beginning brass quintets from the Canadian Brass Book of Beginning Quintets. So again, these are very simple for students to get started out with. And it's very awesome because whatever their instrument is, they can choose which part they want. So let's say I'm playing the trumpet and I want to play A Claire La Fontaine, and then I want to play the second trumpet part instead of the first trumpet part. So once I open that, it will show me the sheet music. But then, just similar to what we've already experienced before, it'll have the accompaniment track, which is all the rest of the ensemble parts. So in a brass quintet, there's two trumpets, one French horn, a trombone, and a tuba. And so within the accompaniment part, you will hear all of those parts played along together at the same time. So it gives the students a really great opportunity to play in an ensemble setting while also playing their own individual part. So let me show you what that sounds like very quick. So as you can hear, it's very well, the recording of the accompaniment is very well balanced together. You can hear the second trumpet part in there as well as all the other trumpet parts and the rest of the instrument parts, which are very exciting. And it gives the students a great opportunity to play in smaller groups, play in smaller groups, but still get the experience of playing together with other people rather than playing a solo and things of that sort. So again, in the small ensemble section, there are beginning level ensembles, and then you get to more advanced ensembles in these red colored sections as well. And again, I also want to recommend that you utilize the filters feature by filtering out certain genres, certain instruments, and certain difficulties. If you have an idea of a ensemble piece that you're trying to look for, feel free to search it in the content area here. And if it doesn't show up, well, then that means that Smart Music doesn't have it accessible on their software. So you definitely want to utilize all of these different systems and opportunities for all the students. If we go back to the home page really briefly, um, I want to show you one last quick notice for how you can find things that you searched before, but you aren't able to find them anymore. So below all of these music categories here, if you go down, it'll go to recently opened. So these are all the things that I've recently opened in the past few minutes. And so if I log out and then log back in, it'll have some of these recently opened sections for me, and I can just go to that same piece if I didn't remember what category it was from or where it was located in the Smart Music software. So again, these are all of the basic features for these different categories. Again, you don't have to go back to the home page every time to locate these. You can just search it on the left-hand side of the screen if you pull up any one of these. So that's an easier way to make your life easier, not to have to go back to the home page every time. You can just click on the left-hand side of any one of these to find what you're looking for. I hope you liked this video. This concludes our basic features tutorial of Smart Music. If you have any questions or I missed explaining something or I wasn't clear in explaining something, please feel free to leave me a comment and I will make sure to get back to you with an answer. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like button and subscribe to this channel for more awesome material and content, including Smart Music and different music material. We hope to see you on the next video.